Everyone knows we have environmental problems, yet we continue to engage in behaviors that cause the problems, and things continue to get worse every year. If you didn't have to live on Earth, it might be funny. Plastic is a good example. We all know we have trashed the planet, yet we continue to use disposable plastic. When problems arise, people in general would point the finger away from themselves. For environmental problems, we blame the government, the corporations, and the growing population. Most people don't know the per capita consumption of water has increased 3 times more than population in the same period. Did we all of a sudden become thirstier? In this case, it is not the drinking that is the problem. The problem is that water is used in making things. And yes, we do have a lot more things than we used to. We have so much stuff that our houses are getting bigger and we still need storage spaces to keep our things. But that is the good life that everyone wants. That is the American dream. Yes, it is. But who is the author of that dream? This version of the American dream was created right here in LA as a part of a real estate scam to make money off of the water we have stolen from Owens Valley more than a century ago. This scam also involved getting people into cars so they can live in the middle of nowhere, starting the terrible phenomenon of urban sprawl. It's been said that money is the root of all evil. It has also been said that money does not grow on trees. I would argue that money does grow on trees because money is worthless if it cannot be used to buy something. Everything we can buy with money came from nature and something that grew from the earth as some part of its life cycle. And the production of everything uses water. No wonder our world is drying up, and the per capita consumption of water has increased 3 times more than population. Another reason for the dry earth is the building of huge cities in the middle of a desert, which is also part of the LA scam. The problem is aggravated by the cultivation of thirsty crops that are unnecessary, like almonds, in the middle of bone-dry California's Central Valley. These practices are made possible by our ability to move water from one place to another over mountains and long distances. It seems like an ingenious engineering feat. Unfortunately, this ingenuity comes with a huge price tag of destruction of much-needed wetlands. The same tragedy has been repeated all over the world. The most infamous example is the Aral Sea in Central Asia. The Aral Sea was one of the largest inland seas in the world. Water diversion cut off water supply to the sea, which simply evaporated away in the desert heat. These are the ships that once sailed the Aral Sea and have been lying on the desiccated seabed like beach whales for decades. Making all that stuff also means cutting down trees. One of the worst causes of this travesty is palm oil. Palm oil was once hailed as a healthier alternative to animal fat. It has now found its way into the majority of snack foods and many unnecessary products. The destruction of old-growth forests for palm oil plantations have led to the loss of habitat, endangering many species. Destruction of forests also means the destruction of soil. Without the trees holding down the soil, it gets eroded. In addition, industrial farming practices also destroy soil. It has been predicted that we only have 60 years of farming left should the destruction of soil continue to occur at current rate. Trees also convert carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into oxygen. As we create more carbon dioxide, we are also reducing our ability to convert it back into oxygen. Another problem with the extra carbon dioxide we produce is the acidification of our oceans, which dissolves the shells or planktons that produce approximately 70% of the oxygen in the atmosphere. It is as if we are on a suicide mission. Most of us are familiar with images like this one as the polar ice melts due to the carbon dioxide we put into the atmosphere for making all the things that we buy. But another terrible effect of the extra carbon dioxide is not getting hardly any attention. That is the disappearing of insects, which our ecosystems depend on. Some have called this the insect Armageddon, predicting the loss of up to 40% of all insects. It should not be a surprise that we have initiated a sixth mass extinction. The previously identified 5 mass extinctions have all been caused by natural disasters. This brings us back to the good life, which really is the goose life. Whose idea is it for us to have all this stuff? Who is the author of the materialistic American dream? The Industrial Revolution replaced human labor with machines. Some saw this as a great opportunity where humans could be liberated from working all day just to survive. While the machines worked, humans could use the newly available free time to develop their potentials in the arts and become dancers, painters, musicians, and evolve further down the evolutionary path. We all know that this didn't happen. Instead, it seems we have devolved and not evolved. Why? It was a conscious decision made by the early industrialists to not liberate the workers. Instead of working less, people are working more to continuously produce more and more products we don't need. The scheme didn't work, by the way, as was planned by the early industrialists. It was not in the culture of people to keep buying things. People had to live with the limitation of what nature could provide and learn through experience to conserve. Modern advertising methods were created to get people to buy the unnecessary products generated solely profit. Industrialists employ psychologists and neuroscientists to speak directly to our unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the biggest part of our brain hidden from us and runs everything in our lives, including decisions that we think we're making consciously. The unconscious mind is wired to maximize our chances for survival and is in the driver's seat of our lives. The wirings for survival leads us to behaviors that are lazy, selfish, and greedy. That programming worked well for us until machines came along, transforming our environment completely. Advertising speaks directly to that programming and turns us into mindless shoppers. What is wrong with that? This country is founded on the pursuit of happiness, isn't it? If shopping makes us happy, then it should be our right to do so. Unfortunately, we may have more stuff, but we're not happier. World happiness studies consistently show that the happiest countries are not the richest countries. The US has yet to make it in the top 10 since the first of such report was released in 2012. In fact, happiness seems to correlate with giving rather than getting. It is just possible that advertising has succeeded in turning our desire for a better life into a desire to buy something. No matter what our dream life might be, most would translate into having more money in the future. Advertising might have also succeeded in turning us into slaves to the dollar. New needs are continuously manufactured. Prime examples of manufactured demands are bottled water, almonds in the myriad forms, including almond milk, strawberries, and fast fashion. The most successful of all the created needs might just be the materialistic version of the American dream. The economy of creating new needs is quickly churning nature into trap. The dream has turned into a nightmare, leaving the planet devastated and the people sick. Why do we blindly follow this path to our own ultimate destruction? Perhaps it's because we are all so mesmerized by the technology that we don't even understand. It seems so magical that we just can't pull our eyes away from them. We have lost a sense of connection to the real world, let alone experience the interdependence of life on Earth. This is likely more a personal experience for most than just a cartoon social commentary. How then do we get back on our feet?